How Amazon is number 8 and Moderna is number 3 is just beyond me. Last month, you might recall me asking what the they were actually doing over there, as most of their executives were selling shares like crazy, and there was some pretty shady going on. And hey, by the way, do we have an inside look of what they're actually still up to? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Okay, well, moving on. Number 10 is Nikola. And what the I just don't understand where the value here is with Nikola when another 45,000 of you came into this stock just this month. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's the trash trucks, bro. You don't even understand. Those trash trucks are going to send Nikola up. What are you wearing? What? I'm trying to go for the Jordan Belfort look. I'm going to be on Wall Street one day. You just I gotta dress the part. I gotta talk the part. I don't even know what to say. That accent is terrible. You look ridiculous. You sound like you're cross between Sylvester Stallone and Christopher Walken. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's not even, bro. Come on. Isn't that close? All right, look. Do we have any idea how much these trash trucks are actually going to be yet? No. Okay, well then how far off are we actually from seeing one of these trucks? Trevor says 2021. Okay, well it's about 3 months from 2021. Has that plant actually been built yet? Is it done being built? That's a no. No. Right. Okay, well, you know what, man? Good luck with that, but I'm just going to have to stay away from this. God, I don't even know what to say to that. That was... Cash card spend was up 50% with the cash balances stored in accounts, which is 86% higher than last quarter alone. This is absolutely incredible as we are seeing higher demand for frictionless transactions that have been exacerbated by the Rona. But even after we get past the pandemic, demand won't change here. The cat's been let out of the bag and there's no putting it back. It's never been easier to spend money, and Lord knows we all love impulse buying. Hey, speaking of impulse buys, how's that plan with Kodak going? You know what, bro? It's a bit of a sore subject right now. Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry, that's my bad. Well, moving back on the square, the two companies that are at the forefront of this, click the join button below if you don't want to miss out on watch lists I put out each morning before the market opens, so you don't miss out on the next one. But what about Intel? Ticker symbol INTC has been seriously beat down here, so is this a great opportunity as well? The stock has tanked over 15% in the last 2 trading days, and in my opinion, don't bet on this getting back over those $60 highs anytime soon. They reported second quarter results last week, and as I had mentioned earlier, the release included the shocking announcement that the company's 7nm processors would be delayed by an approximately 6 months. Those chips were initially scheduled to launch in late 2021, so the delay will push that debut back to 2022. Supposedly, Intel is finally starting to ramp up 10nm production, which was also delayed by years, and honestly, who's trusting that right now? Let's not forget that Apple dumping them has been a huge factor that should have played a big one in the company's performance over the last quarter, and after these earnings, investors are finally starting to realize it. In my opinion, Intel eventually goes lower unless they can figure out how to adapt, much like their surging counterpart is doing. Let me know your thoughts on this, though. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Intel, or is AMD the new sheriff in town that's here to stay? What's going on, people? Good to see everybody. So it's crazy out there. It is the first day we're back here for just our first live stream, really, that we actually had planned, and we kind of told you guys about. For those of you visiting for the first time, my name is Brad. The guy you see above me is Christian, and this is Own the Chaos. The stock market, it's crazy, it's chaotic. No more evident than it has been over the last couple of weeks. And so we have made it our mission to help you guys own it. And if you're seeing the title, you're probably asking yourself, are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. It's to get you guys talking. What's up, Christian? How's it going, man?
What's up, brother? I feel good now that I have a home. I got a little home right above you. It looks good. Hey, it's been a wild day. I'm enjoying these comments. Heinz Heinz said Tesla with the $5 billion dip buy. How about
Yeah. um, it's funny because we were actually talking just before we went live about how Nikola was looking like it was in the middle of a bull flag here, a second bull flag, and sure enough, it started to break up out of that, sitting now at its high of the day at 54.45. And speaking of comments, if you guys want to comment here, if you're watching, you're not part of the Chaos crew, click the join button. You can actually comment here, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we acknowledge you and answer any questions you might have towards the end of the stream. But obviously, as the title says, we're talking about Tesla and Nikola today live. And Nikola came out with news today that GM is taking 11% ownership of Nikola, and so the idea here is that GM is going to be providing resources to build batteries for them. And I gotta say that this is a legitimate catalyst. And when I see one, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna let people know about it. And I let our Chaos Crew folks know about it this morning. So for those of you who are part of the crew, you guys saw that I talked about Nikola, about how it was going to be a pretty good trade today. But this wouldn't be something that I would hold on to forever. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And Christian, I don't know if you had any thoughts on Nikola, but for me, the reason that I would say not to hold on to this, and this is probably going to be a pretty quick pop, is because of all the shares that they have in that offering. Usually when we see big catalysts like this, there's going to be some pretty steep selling going on in after this catalyst comes out. So I would imagine that probably tomorrow or maybe later on in the week, we'll start to see this fizzle out. And this is not going to be some long-term catalyst, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I want to clear this up for people who watch the channel, because we've had stocks that we wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole
Yeah.
one week, and then weeks later we're saying, okay, it could potentially be a day trade. There's no problem with day trading this, or even playing it for a couple days, whatever. I personally I'm not in it. I don't want to be in it. This is a fine catalyst, but for for what I look at in a stock, I only have a couple day trades. I trade in a day, and there's just too many red flags for me to risk it. That doesn't mean it's a bad trade, and that doesn't mean that you're ignorant for being in it. The risk reward just isn't there for me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way that I'm seeing it. I mean, before this catalyst came out, Nikola has been on a downtrend ever since its IPO after its $93, $94 highs. Could this continue to run? Maybe, but here's my theory. GM is desperate right now. They're desperate to try to catch up with Tesla. And so I think they're trying to get anyone and everyone in their corner so that they can try to make a run at Tesla. And so this is one of their attempts to do so. I don't think that it's really any good reason as to why they would, put so much into Nikola, but who knows? Who knows where this goes? They're also in other EV companies as well. They've taken stakes out in other EV companies, and Nikola isn't the only one. So I think that there's a lot of hype surrounded around this. Would I buy it all the way up at $53, $54 a share? Hell no. Could I see this coming back down? Very easily so, yes.
Yeah, and we talk about green and red days, and as far as Tesla is concerned, I know a lot of people are in the chat talking about Tesla. A lot of people in the Chaos Crew are in Tesla, and one of the things is really perspective, because I'm hearing a lot about how much people have been down the last couple of days. I'm curious as to how much you're down on a bigger time frame, right? Because I gave some of my profits back. However, if I look over the course of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I'm up largely. So I think that perspective is going to be really important. And, I still am confident about Tesla. I'm still very bullish on Tesla. However, I was telling you earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 320.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting to see where it goes from here, but it could hit 320. You could probably make the argument it could hit 300. I don't know if it goes any lower than that. Anything's possible, but I think that 320 mark is one I'm like basically below 330. Like, is it going to go below there? That's what I'm looking at personally.
Yeah. And before I get on to my comments about Tesla, somebody was Dale says it's the only way that Nikola could get anything built. I think this is something Trevor's always wanted to pull off with some of his ideas, and I think so. But when you look at the price of this is priced more than Ford now. Nikola is, and Nikola still has no product. So this is something that I just, it's way too high at this point. Would it have been nice to make a good day trade? Yes. And so again, if you were part of the chaos crew, you would have known that this morning. But this isn't something that I would consider staying in for too much longer. Moving on to Tesla and what Christian was saying, yeah, I think that potentially 320 could be an area that we may end up seeing this get to. If we look at the chart here, it's sitting right. It did touch the 340s, came down to 334. And so that could be an area where we could potentially see a bounce again, but don't rule out 320. And I think 320 is a reality here. And again, there's a lot of people selling off as a result of them getting snubbed from the S&P 500. But I like the fact that Joven brought up, said Battery Day. There's a lot of catalysts coming up here. We got Battery Day, October earnings. There's more gigafactories being built. They got so many other stuff that's going on, and people aren't realizing that Tesla is just way more than a car company, and that EV is just a part of what they do. So I think this is definitely a really good opportunity to potentially buy the dip here. If it does get back down to 320s, and then I will definitely be strongly considering adding to it. I really had a strong conviction of not adding to it, only because I do have such a large position and I didn't want to open myself up to any more risk. But 320, it seems like a really sweet spot to grab it at.
Yeah, Sony was asking, do we think it can get up to $400 by Battery Day, which is what, September 22nd? Is that correct?
Yeah, so maybe. I mean, I think leading up to it, we could see some buying. Here's the thing. I think that when people are expecting a catalyst, they're waiting for the catalyst to get here, and then they start buying. Right now would be the time to buy leading up to Battery Day, and maybe taking some off the table once Battery Day gets here. It's kind of like when we talk about earnings, and we're going to talk about that, the overall stock market in a few minutes. But, when you get into earnings, you're usually buying something in anticipation of a company having earnings beat. And then you don't want to have your full position size through earnings because of the risk that poses. You always want to take something off the table. So I think that this could be an opportunity to buy into Tesla earlier and ahead of Battery Day, because I think there will be some buying leading up to that. And then if you wanted to hold on to some through that, then you could. But, again, this is all kind of perspective, what you're looking at. If you're just looking to hold Tesla for the next 10, 20 years, then it doesn't really matter to you a whole lot right now, because we're looking at the short term. That being said, in the short term, if you're looking at this for the next 2 weeks, how you want to play this, then yeah, I would consider now being an area of opportunity for this, and then seeing it make a run into Battery Day.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, so my answer to that question is, I can see that happening. I'm not guaranteeing it's happening, but I can see that happening. However, I don't know how much further past 400 on Battery Day or leading up to Battery Day. So looking at the chart, if you go to the weekly, Tesla has had 25% moves in a week. And so for it to get to 400, it has to make that type of move again.
Yeah.
And so it's entirely possible for next week for it to run that much. The questions that we have to answer as traders are, where do we think the bottom's at, right? Not to time the bottom, but like how much lower can it go? Because then that 25% changes. And when does that move happen? So I think everybody's trying to time the bottom. We've got to see confirmation. Like we really, you and me are both in the same boat. Like we want to buy more, but we have to see confirmation. Yep. It hasn't come yet.
Yeah, it has to be the right discipline, or it has to be the right time, and we have to exercise that discipline to wait for the opportune time and not just buy it because it's down, but wait for some sort of buying to return before actually getting in. And I think that's where a lot of people get caught. They're like, well, it's down this far. How much lower can it go? And it's like, well, it can go a lot lower. So, so my overall sentiments are this. yes, Tesla's still a buy. No, Nikola isn't. And like I said, if you wanted to day trade Nikola, obviously you would have made out big here, and especially if there's a lot of you that felt like you were stuck, I think this could be an opportune time to try to get out of some Nikola. Hopefully, you didn't buy into the 60s and the 90s. But I think that I would be surprised if Nikola continues a whole lot further than where it's at right now after already moving 50% today. And that Tesla will definitely be a buy, but we have to wait to see some sort of confirmation that buying is actually returning to this thing. So far over the last 3-4 days, it just hasn't. So those are my sentiments. Did you have anything?
I got some. We got to address Steve King.
Oh God, what is Steve saying now?
What's up, Steve?
What up, man?
48% of his account is in Tesla.
Holy hell!
Too much.
God damn, man. Yeah, that's a bit too much, bro.
Well, I mean, I need more context. Like, where are you at with that? Because, I mean, if you just bought it now 48%, it's like, man, that's a loaded question. Yes, you shouldn't have loaded up on 48% of your account.
Yeah, damn, bro. That's crazy. Just want to take a little break here. There's 280 folks in here. We got 38 likes. Certainly would appreciate if we could get the likes up just to continue to show support for the channel. And again, if you want to be a part of the Chaos Crew, where you get my portfolio, all the trades that I make, and also a daily watch list, and you want to chat in today's live stream, be sure to click the join button. But Steve Kings just says shit.
Let me give my response to that. I think after the market closes today, Steve, I think you really sit down and if you haven't thought of your strategy, think of best case, worst case. Think about where you think it can go. How long are you holding on to this? If you're in it for the long term, then, whatever. But
yeah,
if it gets worse, have an exit strategy, at least to scale out of part of it. Because it might be hard to part now, but if it falls even more, you'll be happy if you sort of decrease that position size. So I think probably at 2 p.m., I'm not sure how much you can do, but really look at the stock and say, okay, where is my bottom where I'm starting to trim and scale out? Yeah, it might run back up and you might miss out, but the converse is true. It might go down, and that's half of your account that's getting hammered.
Yeah.
And there's other opportunities. I mean, our watch list had great opportunities in it today.
Yeah.
Plug to the watch list.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think that's a perfect segue. One of them on the watch list this morning was Peloton, and it just keeps giving. I mean, this thing has just been an absolute monster. We've been talking about Peloton now for the last several months, back into the $30 range, and it just keeps rolling. This is in the public portfolio that you would get with the Chaos Crew. I've been in and out of this several times, and now I have been in most recently since $77. So this is going to continue ripping. I think we have earnings that come out on Thursday. People are just loving this. In a day where the NASDAQ has taken another beating, Peloton is absolutely on fire. And so this is really encouraging to see. And I would imagine that we probably could see $95, maybe even $100 a share before earnings come out.
Yeah, Peloton has been beautiful. I'm excited for earnings on Thursday, our live stream. I'm excited for the video you're doing. I don't want to give too much away, but we talked about this on Sunday. We talked about the opportunities there, which we have been, but specifically this week, it's making the move we predicted. I mean, probably making a bigger move than we even thought for today, but I'm holding on to it and lead up to earnings. Depending on how tomorrow plays out, especially if it gets to 100, I already told you, I'm going to scale out most of my position.
Yeah, if it gets to $100 a share, that would be pretty insane. And I mean, I would be crazy not to take something off the table as well. This is by far my biggest winner in the public account that we've just started a few weeks ago. And I mean, I got to be able to take profit when it's given to me. So this is going to be one that I think does really, really well leading into earnings. The other one we had on Stock Watch Sunday, didn't really have it on the watch list this morning, but Stock Watch Sunday was RH. I ended up buying into this at 318, and they have earnings coming up, and I think this was going to do really well too. haven't taken a giant position, but was able to get in at 318. And I think that this one does well still. Again, Restoration Hardware. We talked about residential real estate and how it's been booming, and how not just from the buyer side, but if you're looking to sell your house, chances are you're probably trying to fix it up to sell it. So you're going to be looking towards companies like Restoration Hardware to be able to make the necessary upgrades to your home in order to sell it. And if you're buying a home and you want to fix it up, again, this is where Restoration Hardware comes into play. So I think they actually really do have good earnings. I wanted to get in to see if I could play the run into those earnings. It's gone as high as 326 today. Was able to grab in on a pullback. I really like this one, Christian.
Yeah, Restoration Hardware is good. So for me, a lot of people are talking about their position sizes. Aaron Chen's in large. Patrick Higgins, scared money don't make money. I feel you on that one. I feel you on that. Patrick Higgins is in full account, 100% Tesla.
Damn.
Which is, listen, if you have that risk tolerance, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
And we are both bullish on Tesla long term. So
100%.
It's down 16%. Like, all you people that are worried about it, again, look at what like your risk tolerance is. And if you can tolerate it, we're both confident in it leading up to Battery Day. But even long term, like from the long term perspective, for sure, we're confident in that. But as far as what you were talking about, what we're watching, so I was on our watch list. I played Peloton, Disney, and Etsy today. I did Disney for a day trade. So I'm actually already out of it. I locked in about 2.5% today, but that Disney was looking good. And I know you still feel good about Disney. That's in the public account. And I still, in my long-term account, I have Disney.
Yeah.
So I feel really good about Disney, getting up to highs. I mean, I really think that's possible. Once those parks reopen, it's off to the races. So 150 is going to be like butter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, really, if you look at this on the daily chart, 150 was where it was sitting before the crash. And I think that this blows it away, because if you guys recall, Disney Plus wasn't as big as it is now, and the stock was sitting at 150. So now that Disney Plus has exploded and is at 60 million plus, and you add the largest revenue driver for the company back into the mix, this is going to be an extremely bullish move moving forward. I think this is one of the best recovery stocks to look into owning. We've talked about having good recovery stocks, and I think this is going to be one that really does well. And a big hell yeah shout out to Tony for coming into the Chaos Crew. Welcome, my man.
Don said Higgins watches his channel. If he said scared money don't make money, Don, you didn't come up with scared money don't make money. Everybody says scared money don't make money.
That saying is old as hell.
Oh, Don, you have no license. Oh, that's awesome. But anyways, I want to make a point on Etsy. Obviously, the S&P entry was big news for Etsy. You've been bullish on Etsy for a long time. We've had it on the watch list numerous times. One of the things that I think Etsy's still underappreciated, because when you look at it from a fundamentals perspective and an opportunity perspective, it looks so good. And you're looking at some of these stocks that are really coming into their own, and these like stay-at-home stocks, a lot of them are still trying to work out their financials. Maybe they're just coming into the positive. Etsy's not in that boat. No. Etsy's a very profitable company, and they're only growing, and their room for growth is huge. I think it's not that sexy, but man, what a good stock.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a reason that it was added to the S&P 500, and it wasn't because it's a crap company. This is something that we talked about it this morning in the mentorship, and this is something that was a clear call at 108 this morning. And if we go back and look at this, 108 was the support for it, and it came right down there, bounced off of it, and went all the way up as high as 118. Is bleeding off a little bit right now towards the end of the day. But I mean, I think that if you can get this in the low 100s, it's a clear buy in my opinion, and that Etsy is only going to go higher. I thought it was interesting that you brought up the other night about how 83% of Etsy, folks are Etsy,
Sellers.
sellers are women, and so that means that like I think there's just huge opportunity for growth here, ridiculous. So Etsy is going to be a clear buy for me, especially if it's below 110. And if it somehow gets back down here to low 100s, 103 was the low on Friday, then it's a no-brainer. Oh, my God. Patrick, bro, thanks for the donation, man. Patrick donated $100. He says, you guys are great. Love the show. Some of that Tesla money I'm up on. There we go, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the donation. That's incredible.
Awesome. Hope. All right. So Hope said, you'd mentioned Disney Plus. She asked she mentioned didn't it launch, right around March. Disney Plus launched in November. So yeah, it was right around that time where it was picking up steam. But yeah, man, there's so much room to grow. And I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I did want to mention this point. We love you, Hope, by the way. I wanted to mention the point that that's important for me, because you're the trading guy and I'm still learning. I'm a man of the people, but what I try to look through it is the lens of like, my background's business and I work with small businesses. I coach small businesses and entrepreneurship. So I like to look at it from that end, the investment end. And I spend a lot of time on fundamentals. And one of the key things I'm looking at right now is free cash flow. And I'm looking at margins. And so when we look at somebody like Disney, we look at somebody like, we've talked about it with Peloton, with Apple.
Yep.
They're all transitioning into things that are high margin. And so the Disney parks are great, but I believe those are like, this sounds really crazy, but I think there's going to be a point in time in the future where like Disney parks are more like an advertising and a marketing tool than anything else. Because when you talk about the Mulan release, which was huge this weekend, that's 100%, like that's practically 100% margin. Whereas like if they released it into the theater, you got to cut that a certain amount of ways.
Yeah.
So I know there's not as many numbers, but that's all profit. And so Disney Plus is just huge for them. And then the same when you look at somebody like Peloton, everybody thinks of them as an exercise bike company. No. They're a fitness company and they have 1 million people that subscribe to their monthly service.
Yep.
That's again, pure profit. So those are the things that I'm really looking at. And I get excited about for companies like Disney, because they can do that. And Apple has their credit card. All that stuff is just high margin items.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Apple did announce that the iPhone 12 will be coming out on September 12th. So we nailed that one. And I don't think really Apple's responded too much to that this morning, to that news, but I'm sure we'll probably start to see this make some moves getting into that date. And once we get numbers out on how many were sold, all that good stuff, I'm sure Apple will start to get the move on as well. So this is one we haven't really talked about, but also kind of suffered the same fate as the rest of tech. If if you were ever looking for an opportunity to get in on Apple, then I think that now's as good a time as ever to start scaling in.
So I actually want to throw this out there, but before actually, can I get an update on what's going on in the market? Tesla, Nikola, how those guys looking?
Yeah, so Nikola has pulled back here from the highs and actually sold off. And Tesla has actually started to Tesla's remained the same, sitting here at 342. So, but the channel, however, we're seeing 424 concurrents. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And we got 99 likes. Those are freaking rookie numbers. Can we get the likes up? Certainly would appreciate that. And again, if you want to be part of Chaos Crew, hit the join button. So yeah, we got Nikola that's pulling back here. It's looking like it could threaten to go below $50.
So I want to take some questions. So I'm going to ask a couple now, but throw out your questions, guys and gals. And also let us know what you're playing the rest of the week. I want to know what you're bullish on. But with that said, we have Bratz 123, Brown Bear, Tesla. Oh, Tesla's crap today.
That's a hell of a question.
The question is, where do you see Zoom going in the short term?
Look, Zoom short term is probably going to suffer here. Probably, I would say the rest of this week is going to be a down week for Zoom. It just went absolutely bonkers off of those earnings and needed to cool way the hell down. I mean, I was going to be impressed with it going over $325 after earnings, and then it went nearly to $500 a share. That was something that I was shocked, literally floored by. And Christian and I text each other back and forth after those earnings because we just were blown away. So it needed to pull back, and I think that it's not done yet. I think we'll see this come back down a little bit more, probably the 340s. And so, but I know that you're asking short term, but if anybody was knowing about curious about long term, Zoom's here to stay, and it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Can we sustain that kind of growth that we saw in the second quarter of this year? Probably not. But are they going to continue to growing? Absolutely. And I think that they're only going to increase in demand moving forward, especially as people start to realize that remote work isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I actually am worried about it. Not worried about it, but I'm a little bit cautious on it for longer than that. I love Zoom and I love the earnings. I just feel like they set the bar so high and that run up was so big. I mean, I'm fat man Zoom. I love Zoom. I'm holding off. I sold my profits. I'm holding off. I have it in my long term, but I'm going to wait for that because I'm also worried about like, how's it going to react to any reopening news, any of that. So next quarter is going to be interesting as well. What's the move going to be like to the next earnings? Because I can't see them blowing out the same way they did this earnings. Yeah. So that's going to be kind of interesting. And I anticipate there being a little bit of a leveling out there. At that point, I'll look to re-enter.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100% with that. We got Don in the house donating $5. Appreciate it, man. He said, get those likes up.
Nice. That's so sweet.
So you're a moderator now, Don. I made you one, so you're good.
All right. So the next question we have is, we just got some comments. Aaron Chen said he got Etsy long today. We'll add more if they drop more. Sony said he's only risking if he sells at a loss. He's holding on for a decade or so he should be good. Yep, I agree.
Right.
All right, so here we go. Jeffrey Chow, we don't talk about this stock enough. What are your thoughts on Shopify? With their potential integration into Facebook Marketplace, they have a huge consistent year-to-year increase, good price entry.
Yeah, so we don't talk about this enough. And, we always talk about e-commerce and how huge it is. And we've talked about everything else under the sun other than Shopify. I don't know why we don't talk about it as much as we should. But, it looks great. I would say that even right here, when it came down below $900 a share, it definitely was going to be something to scoop up. It's sitting at $927 right now, and I got to believe that this is still a reasonable area to potentially grab, especially if you're looking for a longer-term hold on this thing. Like if we bring this out on the drawing board here, I think that it could have some room to run here all the way up to around 973, and then if it breaks over that, it should continue from there from a technical standpoint. But look, from a fundamental standpoint, Shopify is going to continue to be huge and rival that of your Amazons and Etsy's and all the other ones as well. I mean, Shopify is it really does cater to the freelancer, somebody who's looking to build their own business online, and I really think that we're going to see this back up over $1,000 before long.
Yeah, this is a great company. So Hope wants us to strip. Which you're on your macro, so you've been nutrition, so you may be willing to take your shirt off.
I've lost 10 pounds. I've lost 10 pounds.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Your nutrition coach just killing it. Shout out to Alchemy Fit.
Yeah.
Blade Runner said $5 holla from Don. I like that. $5 holla might be a thing.
It might be.
All right. And so, all right. The one stock we've been talking about a lot that's been beaten down.
Yeah.
Darren Anderson, Red Bear, asks, is Rocket a good deal right now? Seems like it cooled off after the pullback. Well, cooled off is an understatement, my friend.
Yeah. So Rocket, this is something we talked about this morning as well. When it was sitting down at $22 this morning in our mentorship, I literally said that this price was a joke. And sure enough, after market open, it went all the way up to 24.60. I'm sorry, 24. 24.79, 24.80 of the highs of today. And I still think that sitting here at $23 is an absolute joke as well. Rockets, look, their IPO price was $18 a share. And given their most recent earnings and the type of growth that they're experiencing, I think it's deserving of a lot higher price point. I think that Rocket should be sitting up over $30 a share right now. And the only reason that it's pulled back is because of some of their sentiments as it relates to the wintertime and all that good stuff. It's when they were on their conference call, that kind of spooked a lot of people. And then obviously with the recent sell-off, speculative plays, recent IPOs, all those are going to be the first ones to go. Unfortunately, Rocket is that one that was subject to that as well. But I think that this could be a potential gift for those of you who felt like they missed a boat and are looking for cheap shares on Rocket. This is definitely something that I would consider buying up in this range right now.
I was looking under $20. I thought it might get today. I was going to go hard in the paint on that. Didn't hit it. But let me tell you this. If Rocket was of the female kind, I would wife her up. I love it that much. And they're talking about the news. The comment was that demand for the winter for housing was going to be down. Number one, that's normal.
Yeah.
But I actually don't think it's going to be down as much as they think. I think, and Don's actually got more of his finger on the pulse of real estate, but I think they're going to blow out the next earnings too. So I think that was the old head fake. I feel really good about Rocket. I am in love with that woman.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you have it. If we couldn't make it any more clear about how we feel about Rocket, I think Christian sealed the deal there. 465 concurrents. We got 152 likes. You guys are great. If you guys are getting value out of today's video, certainly would appreciate the thumbs up. And again, if you guys are just starting to come in and you're wondering how you can get in on this chat, just click the join button. It's $5 a month. You get the watch list. You get the ability to chat in here as well. Super cheap. It's well worth the value. So moving on. What else we got, my man?
Well, side note, Don actually just wrote, Rocket is collecting money hand over fist on refis with these rates. So it looks like we have his stamp of approval as well.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. We have so Tan 179. I heard this. I saw you put this before. I was going to get to it, but you wrote it again. I have FMCI and GRAF. Should I wait until the companies merge or dump it now and buy Tesla? I need to average down for my Tesla of 450.
FMCI, you said?
Yeah. FMCI and GRAF.
Let's see here.
And they're in up 40% in each.
Damn. Okay, so here's what I would say. I think FMCI certainly has some potential to keep rolling here. Let's see. It's supposed to sell on the daily. If you haven't taken anything off of the table, I would highly suggest that you do. I'm not saying that it can't continue to roll here, but we're sitting damn near close all-time highs as it is, as we're speaking. So if you haven't taken anything off the table, haven't sold a dime of it, if it were me, I would want to take something so that I could and maybe leave something in there. The reason why I would do that was because I want to try to minimize my risk while also maximizing profit. I think that FMCI definitely has some potential to keep rolling here, but I don't want to be giving away all of my profits either. So taking someone off the table makes a lot of sense, but also keeping some in there just to kind of see where it goes makes sense too. So keeping it all in there opens yourself up to a lot of risk. And so that's kind of how I would roll with that. And then GRAF, man, I can't believe you're up that much on both of them. That's awesome. Great job. And the sentiments are the same here. You're sitting literally at all-time highs with GRAF. And I would probably do the same thing. Really kind of the same strategy is how I would follow that.
Nice. All right. So we have Joseph Albright. Do you know who Joe Coy is, the comedian?
No.
He does this thing. His mom's, when he impersonates his mom, calls him Joseph. So every time I see Joseph. So Joseph Albright asks, I like this question. PayPal and Square look like a good dip buy to me. If you had to choose one, for your portfolio, which one would you choose?
I get this question all the time, and I say it doesn't matter. If I had to go with one, if there was a gun to my head, it would be PayPal, only because it's a bigger company. They're the better company. They've been around longer, and so that's really the only advantage I see that they have over Square. But you really can't go wrong with either. I consider them 1 and 1A. And so I think that if I'm going to get into one that I have to be in, it's got to be PayPal. But don't discount Square at all. The advantage, the nice thing about Square is that it's at least a little cheaper. But no, I mean, if I'm looking for something to hold on to for a while, it's got to be PayPal. And these are both at really good levels right now to be able to scoop up some shares on the cheap, because neither one of these companies are going to go down in value anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you just got to look at them both and decide what your sentiments are. So like the argument, I would say that there's probably higher upside for Square.
Yeah.
I think PayPal's for me, it's a little bit of a safer choice. But the arguments I'll make are like PayPal, I feel like it's a little bit more established. Their fundamentals are a little bit better. But Square, the question I think you have to ask is like, what do you think is going to happen with small business? What do you think their entry into their share is going to be? Because they are doing really well. They're making moves, and that's what I like. I feel like they're making more moves than PayPal is. And so if you think that can translate into some good things and small business continues to grow and a lot of places don't like, I think that could do well. But yeah, look at them both. I'm cool with both of them. I personally have PayPal currently and not Square, but I think there's high upside for Square as well.
Frictionless transactions is where we're headed, and these two are at the forefront of it. And so owning either one of these is going to be a good thing. Really wanted to shout out here. We got Adib Hamden. Welcome to the Chaos Crew. Thanks for hanging out and joining the crew. And Willis from African Emporium with the $1.99 donation and the thumbs up, man. It's been a while since we've seen you in here, Willis. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for the donate too.
I think Willis just hit 1K. I think he just did like a 1K giveaway or something. So congrats.
I saw that. Man. Nice job, bro. He's part of the We Trade HQ family as well. So good to see you, man. What else we got, my man?
Jorge Gonzalez. Nikola jumped up. Captain Obvious. Sorry, I had Do you think I'm sorry, bro. Do you think if Workhorse gets a contract, they'll jump up even higher? Seems like a bigger catalyst.
Workhorse, yeah, for sure. And this is one that I've talked about. I mean, how long have I been saying that if of all the EVs, Christian, this is the one that I've liked the most. And there's a reason for that. We got a lot of government backing with Workhorse. They've already got contracts with UPS, and we have that pending transaction or pending deal with USPS. And so I think that this could be one that really takes off and could be much more valuable than any of the other speculative EV plays right now. And that being said, I think that this is one though that's really all it has weighing on it right now. So with that speculative nature, if the USPS deal doesn't go through, Workhorse is going to crash hard, and it's not going to be pretty for anybody who's just been sitting in this thing and not taking any money off of the table. I know that Hope in the mentorship, she actually said that she sold off of some Workhorse today after its recent run up today, and she has some shares left. And that's exactly what we preach and we talk about all the time is just, make sure you're taking something off the table. And if you're in something speculative like this, and you want to leave some shares in there to see what it does, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you can afford the risk and you've managed it well, then I think you'll be fine.
All right. New member, Marcel Wirtz. Hey, guys, love the show. What about ASML?
Welcome to the crew, Marcel. So ASML, is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay. Might want to make some adjustments to your audio, Christian, there. But ASML has just had nothing but, I don't know, this trend looks terrible, honestly. And the chart is really awful. There's nothing about this chart that I like at all. If by some chance you just gotta have it and you see tons of value with this thing, I would wait for it to potentially come back down to 333. But right now it's on a serious downtrend, and not just over the last couple of days. It's been on one over the last several weeks. So this is one that I probably would avoid for now, unless you're already in. If you've already been in this thing and you're wondering if you should be selling out or not, maybe just be patient to see if it kind of can hold that 330 line and see where it goes from there. But this wouldn't be something that I would want to make an entry on just yet until I see some sort of reversal.
Barat Maria just got to the stream, so she asked what we talked about with Tesla. I think this is a good point. If you guys have specific questions about Tesla or want to make specific statements or whatever, discuss your strategy, we welcome in the chat. Let's revisit Tesla and Nikola again, just from time to time. But if you want to give her just a snapshot on Tesla.
Yeah, so basically Tesla's a buy and Nikola's a sell. No, so we just covered over Nikola and about how this is a great catalyst for a nice short-term day trade, but if you're expecting this to really kind of carry over in the next couple of days or weeks, I don't think that that's realistic. And we also have to make sure that we're paying attention to the fact that they have 55 million shares that they plan to issue. And when do they issue shares like this? During catalysts like this. We saw that with the garbage truck, quote unquote, catalyst, that shares just continually got dumped into. Everybody was super excited about it, and then what happened? Shares just kept getting dumped. That's what's going on, and so I would imagine that we eventually see that with Nikola as well. And not to mention that Trevor Milton himself has made it clear that they have at least 2 more offerings that could potentially be coming down the pipeline. And so that's even more shares on top of the 55 million shares that they're dumping into this thing. So I would avoid this long term, but it was a great day trade nevertheless. And Tesla, obviously, as we've talked about, that it's come down quite a bit. 320 seems to be a reasonable area to where if it gets to, it almost seems like a no-brainer. We're sitting at 338 right now. So 320 is kind of where we're watching. And I think that I would be really, really tempted to buy some more up at those levels.
Yeah, and one of the things we mentioned as well is, the right now, like just waiting for confirmation, because right now it is very tempting, but it could go down even further. So waiting for a true confirmation, not your confirmation bias where you're like, oh, now it's bouncing back. Seeing confirmation, you might miss a couple percentage points, but it's been falling pretty hard. So we both talked about how we're both tempted to buy more, but we're holding off on that. I want to say about Nikola versus Tesla, when you're looking at a company, this catalyst is fine, right? This is really, to me, like the first real legitimate catalyst.
Yeah.
And everybody's been waiting for any reason to like pump up this stock. But when you're looking at a company, I mean, yes, a catalyst is good. It's a reason to move. But then when you're looking at the company, compare the two. Management, you got to look at management, you got to look at fundamentals, you got to look at technicals, right? How much more? If I said, okay, if you get in right now, which one would you predict would get to 50% increase more from here? Tesla's down 20%. Nikola's up 50%. What's the likelihood that Nikola gets 50% more before Tesla gets over whatever time period? Yeah. So like when you look at that, it seems likelier that Tesla has more room to run up. Now we know Nikola could go off, but for the long term, we know that management, are you really going to compare Trevor, whoever his nuts is, compared to Elon Musk? That's a no-brainer. Their management's better at Tesla. Their product's better. They have a product.
Right. Let's start there.
And then lastly, they have fundamentals. Tesla beats them on every mark. That isn't going to make me shift my money from Tesla to Nikola. It's just not enough.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. We
I'm
got,
fired up.
that was quite a rant there. No, I'm just kidding. Pastrada, welcome to the Chaos Crew, and he got in on level 2. So thanks for hanging out, man. Happy to have you. Don said you heard it here first. Nikola sell, Tesla buy, all of it, and that they make and that Nikola makes posters and Tesla makes cars, and yeah,
we know how Don feels about Nikola. He's made that very, very clear.
Yeah. Apparently, there's like no shares to short on this thing, so everybody's short on this bad boy. So
we got euros.
Oh, look at that, €2.99. What is that, Craxon?
That's like $5. That's a $5 holla.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the donate. Thanks so much. We got 449 in here hanging out live with us at 168 likes. We get those likes up to 200. What do you say? We'll go. We'll do an extra special Thursday live stream. We'll do something special for it. We already know we're going live, but we'll do something special. We'll think of.
I was about to say, what? We're already on live.
We'll think of something. Speaking of Thursday, we're not doing a 2:00 live stream. We're going to be going live at 3:45 p.m. in anticipation of Peloton's earnings. So it'll be a Peloton earnings stream, and that's going to be really exciting. So if you guys want to come back and hang out for that on Thursday, we'll be going live, and it'll be another members only. So if you guys want to get in on the action, make sure that you're hitting the join button. But yeah, that's gonna be one that I'm super excited about and looking forward to, is those Peloton earnings.
Yeah. Mark Peach, Brown Bear. This one's right up your alley. Thoughts on why Nvidia is still going down big percentages for a few days? Any idea when it'll go up again? I know that you also, didn't you get that today in the public portfolio?
I added to it today, yeah. So okay. I got into this in the low $500 range. Obviously, I'm clearly red on this thing because it's still continuing to come down. But there's been a lot of controversy surrounding around Nvidia, because this is one of the ones that SoftBank got themselves into. If you guys missed out on Stockwatch Sunday, we talked about it briefly there, about how SoftBank essentially had $50 million worth of leverage on huge tech, and that includes Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and several others. And so people were either spooked by that, or SoftBank has yet to have commented on whether or not they've sold all of that. But that's a ton of money, and that's something that could really influence the market and causes a manipulation in the market. And so that's what's got people spooked. Nvidia isn't going anywhere. I still say that Nvidia hits 600 by the end of the year. They got so much other good stuff going on, and really this catalyst is kind of a joke as to why it would have some extreme selling off here. So from a fundamental standpoint, Nvidia is still very much a buy. If you're looking for maybe areas to re-enter, I would look for this to come back down to 465. Let's see if it does it. My hope is that it doesn't, but if it does, certainly would be an area to grab it at. But I mean, we're starting to get to levels to where it was before those stellar earnings a couple weeks ago that we actually went live for too. So I think Nvidia does come back, and it would be nothing but grabbing on the dips here, in my opinion.
Yeah, people think the N in Fat Man Zoom is for Netflix. It's actually for Nvidia. I love Nvidia. And speaking of CEOs, like their management, I think has some of the best management of any company. Their product is, to me, best in class. They're an awesome company. I love them. Speaking of Netflix, how about that falling off everybody's radar?
I know.
Which is actually sitting pretty nicely above 500. But man, that is like the long forgotten stock.
I know.
The next, what do we got next?
We got,
what up, William Frucknick?
We got Hady Shakur in the house.
Nice.
Thanks for joining the Chaos Crew. Happy to have you. And we got Victor now too. Welcome,
Victor
guys.
Toledo.
Happy to have you folks.
All right, what's the next question? Pastrada asked about work today and earnings.
Yeah, so actually that was one thing that we haven't really done much talking about today, is a Slack. And they have earnings today. This is Stockwatch Sunday. And hasn't really done much. I mean, it's done pretty much whatever all the other tech stocks have done today, and that is where it had just an initial run up. First thing in the morning, it's kind of fizzled out. I think that they do come in and beat earnings today. I don't know if I would want to be holding any going into them, though. I do have a position in them. If by some chance I decide that I want to hold on to some, it might only be for a few shares just to kind of see what ends up happening with it. But yeah, I'm nervous holding into earnings here just because of the way that the reaction was to last earnings, and yeah, so I'm a little nervous about it. I wouldn't want to be holding after close today.
My concern with, well, I don't even want to say concern. What I need to see from Slack is really monetization of their business
Yeah.
and profitability. So, where can they monetize? Where is the growth for them in the future as a publicly traded company? The platform is great. I mean, I don't love it, but like the people who use it love it.
Yeah.
But how do we monetize it beyond obviously the subscription? And are these enterprises going to adopt Slack as a whole? Or look at somebody like Zoom. Zoom's trying to create those same features,
Yeah.
so you can do that sort of channel chat, teamwork environment. And obviously Microsoft Teams is the one who's kind of like really trying to take over that space as well. So I don't know, what would you want, Zoom and Microsoft or Slack? I bet my money probably on the former.
Yeah. I still love Slack. I think it's the future. We'll see if they can carve out a space and create some and take over some market share of this space, because it is going to be a challenge. There was a lot of people that said that Zoom wasn't going to be able to pull that off, and so I feel as if Slack has the same foundation and has the same potential. We'll just see if they can actually execute on that. And I think that this upcoming earnings after hours definitely we could find that out. We could find out if they are or if they aren't. We'll see what happens.
And I think it's good we disagree on things, because I don't think they're the future. I think the idea is the future. I don't see Slack doing it.
Yeah.
Do you use Slack?
I don't know. Shopify uses Slack. They love Slack over there. But no, I mean, there's definitely arguments you can make on both sides of this, and that's why I don't know if I want to be holding onto any shares before earnings. Sometimes I'll still hold on to something, but this one I'm not so sure about.
Well, for those watching, if you're trying to pick one, I'm 0 for 2 head to head against Brad. So the safer bet is probably to listen to Brad. Although the first one I might try to throw out because of a technicality. You put me on the spot, but you typically win head to head. But I'm coming back. Slack. Boom. All right, what do we got?
I'm just looking at Tesla here. It's still selling off. Actually got down to the 430s now. Getting ready to. It's threatening the low of the day now here. So a lot of downward pressure on Tesla. It might get to that point, man. It might get to that point that we're looking for.
All right. So Scanajai said that planning to transfer from Robinhood to WeBull.
Yeah.
Probably smart move. Can you share your experience, and is there a 5-day processing time?
Yeah, so I love WeBull, and honestly, I was a skeptic because I kind of lumped it into the Robinhood crowd, if you will, and that and I really, really like the platform. It's super easy to use. It's not nearly as overwhelming as like a Thinkorswim or Charles Schwab's like Street Smart Edge, and it's a lot more powerful than Robinhood. The desktop version is actually improved a lot, and I think that if you're looking to switch brokerages, that WeBull definitely could be the next one for you to give a shot at trying. The links in the description for the 2 free stocks. So you'll get 2 free stocks. I get 2 free stocks when you sign up with WeBull, and if you want to give it a shot, I got no problem with that. I think it's definitely going to be a good switch for you. As far as processing time, it does take some time to for your funds to clear once you transfer everything over. The nice thing about this is that they actually advance you some money. So if you put in more than I think it's more than $1,000, they'll actually advance you half of that, of whatever you put in, and up to a certain amount, obviously. But which is kind of nice. And I've been making some additions here as far as transferring money over, and then they basically advance you in the form of margin. And once it clears, you're good to go. But yeah, I mean, it does take a little bit more processing time than I would say that most brokerages do, but I don't really see that as much of a big deal. So, but it's a great platform. I love it a lot.
Victor Toledo asks, will you all do a live battery day? You bet your ass we're going to be going live for battery day.
Can I get a hell yeah? We're going to be doing that.
William Frucknick, I'm going to call you Willie F from now on. Willie F, thanks for the donation. He's killing me. He said it burns when he pees now. He's peeing blood. He's being blood off of Tesla. It's getting ugly over there.
I love Willie. He's hilarious.
Garcia family, the entire family wants to know what are the perks for level 2 of the Chaos Crew.
So yeah, guys, if you want to be part of the level 2 crew, it gets you the access to the daily portfolio. So every day, anytime, any trades that I make throughout the day, at the end of the day after hours, I'll make a post. I'll show you the change in my account. I'll show you what I got into, what I got out of, and that is a daily post. So that'll be up every day. The level 1 gets you the daily watch list as well as secret live streams and obviously the ability to chat and hear with us too. Level 2 will give you the access to portfolio and all the trades that I make and everything else too. So you want to be a part of that, come on over. We got over 502 concurrents. We're just going up, baby. We're just going up.
And also, don't downplay the old members library. That members content.
Yeah, we also put out little good nuggets of knowledge as well on just like, how to invest and my best practices and what's worked and what hasn't. So yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff in there.
Which Mike Hudson brought up a good one that we're going to film this week, which is we're going to talk about, he wants to know about our strategies around scaling into positions, starter positions. When we say starter positions, full position size. So I want to do a video specifically talking about your strategy, my strategy. That's an example of a member's video, just commonly asked trader questions.
Yep. And you'll get that all
Sony,
in the...
We haven't talked about Amazon. Let's talk about Amazon. Sony was asking about Amazon. Could you pull up the chart and just talk about entry?
Yeah. So let's take a look at this. Look, there's no doubt in my mind that it shouldn't be an ad. It's just what price range makes the most sense. Right now it's sitting at 31.50. This is insane. And really in large part because Amazon, the fundamentals of this thing haven't changed and they've just gone absolutely bonkers. And and believe it or not, the rate in which that they can still grow is pretty insane. So looking at Amazon, I would say that if by some chance this comes down in the $3,000 flat area, it's very much a clear buy. I don't know if I see this going below 3,000. Maybe it happens, but I really seriously doubt that it does. If you can get it under 3,100, it's a clear buy. It's a clear buy in my opinion. I mean, this is insane. So yeah, Amazon, just buy it up.
It's funny, like Amazon's a monster. What a company. That I can't wait till next earnings.
Yeah, I mean, it was sitting at 35.52 before everything started to correct. And so we're getting close to that area of what people would consider a normal correction. And so I think that I think this is a point in which I would be scooping up some Amazon for sure. I wanted to just shout out AK for coming into the level 2 crew. Happy to have you, man.
And if and we mentioned this again on stock, you guys got to make it for Stock Watch Sunday. Sorry if we're repeating ourselves for those who watch, but Stock Watch Sunday, you go live every Sunday at 8:30.
Yep.
Talk about your top 5 stocks for the week and what's going on in the market. One of the things we mentioned as a response to Kroger, because I was on the top 5, was looking at Amazon and Whole Foods. Now, no denying Amazon has so many other great things going on, and their cloud is a huge opportunity that they're just crushing it in. But the thing is that, like, when you look at the breakdown of market share, Amazon owns Whole Foods and the technology they're bringing to Whole Foods and what it's going to look like the next 5-10 years, whatever. Amazon has 2.2% of market share, 2.2%, which is on par with Walgreens. You can't tell me that won't multiply X multiples over the next couple of years. I think by next year, that'll at least double minimum.
Yep.
So That's one thing where I'm also excited about Amazon, the growth opportunity. Again, fundamentals, we talked about margins. Their margins are really, really low, but they're increasing because of all the stuff they're doing.
Yep.
Beyond just the Amazon shopping, right? E-commerce stuff. So that's going to increase. And if Amazon can get to a net margin of 10%, hell, 15%, that stock is going to be bananas.
Yeah. And the other thing too, which is crazy to believe, is that there's still a very small fraction of people that do shopping online, retail shopping online. Consensus Bureau came out, and I think it was 18% of people are shopping. Retail shoppers are shopping online still, which is mind blowing. And so I think that the potential for Amazon to continue to grow here is pretty limitless still, as crazy as that sounds.
So it seems like everything's pulling back. Dawson Schreiner said Peloton is dropping. Do you expect this to continue?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure there's going to be a end of day sell off. But this isn't something that I'm shocked about, and we actually did talk about this on Stockwatch Sunday as well. Yeah, it's pulled back about 5% or not about 2 or 3%. It's pulled back about $5 a share from its highs up at $90. I'm not worried about this at all. I actually kind of wanted to get back into the 80s to try to add to this, so this might be a good opportunity for me to do so. So as far as that's concerned, I'm not worried about it at all. It probably will continue here later in the day as we're getting into power hour here. I think that we'll probably see some selling off. It's not just Peloton, it's everything, so not really concerned about it. And like I said, I think we see this run into Thursday. There's going to be a lot of FOMO running into Thursday, I believe.
Buzz Jones, what's up, rock stars? Sorry, I just joined you. I was eating my pastrami sandwich.
That dude cracks me up. I think he's fairly new, but he's like already acting like he's part of the, he's been around forever.
Yeah, because he's got the wrestler name. Buzz Jones, top rope.
DDT.
Christian Smith asked, how do you upgrade to level 2? First of all, Christian, we need more Christians in the group. Name Christian. I'm Christian. So that didn't make any sense, did it?
No, it did not.
My name is Christian. Woo. So we've had some people with issues with level 2. If you go to membership and you go to your membership tab on Own the Chaos channel homepage, there should be a widget on the right. You click that, it shows your level, and it should give you the opportunity to upgrade to level 2. So Don also, thanks for the donation. Kill your masters.
Appreciate it.
Don mentioned Amazon and Tesla are trending down, but when that spark of good news happens, it could pop pretty quickly. Oh yeah, I mean Tesla, the volatility is insane,
and that's why we talk about scaling in areas that make sense instead of just trying to find the bottom somewhere.
Yeah. Listen, Tammy Johnson wants to know what Batman Zoom stands for.
Now you gotta answer.
Never ask. Batman Zoom, it's my version of FANG. So it's Facebook, Apple, Tesla, MGM, Amazon, Nvidia, and Zoom. And my whole philosophy on the way I try to trade is I rather focus on a grouping of stocks. So I try to look at about 10 stocks. So those 7 are my core stocks that I'm scaling in, scaling out of. And then I'll leave 2 or 3 slots for day trades, because I learned early on that if I'm looking at everything, I'm not able to really manage properly. So I want to know everything about Fat Man Zoom, those stocks, and really make those the ones that I focus on for the long term and just become an expert at those stocks. That's Fat Man Zoom. It's going to be the name of my boat one day.
It's actually pretty genius. I thought the acronym was great. And I mean, how are you going to forget that Fat Man Zoom? You're not. So it's pretty good. Just to check back in with Tesla, we're now below the low of the day, sitting at 335.18 is the new low of the day. So continue to get beat down here. Man, this is starting to become really, really tempting. But I'm still going to wait for it to come back down to around 320 area Not worried about Tesla in the least. And checking back in with Nikola, and we'll see if this actually came back below $50, and it did. No surprise there. So it blew the top off here at 55, just about $55 a share, and continue to sell off too. How much you want to bet Nikola sees $30 by the end of the week? I'm gonna laugh if it does.
Well, since the whole market's kind of selling off, and I was looking at the chart for Tesla, and then we'll get back to Nikola in a second. But I was looking at the chart for Tesla, and I mentioned earlier that I'm looking for around that 320 area.
Yeah.
And I could see 300. I mean, the reality is, to me, the worst case scenario, like 280. If you really look at, well, I'm actually looking pretty far out. I had it on the weekly because I was looking at percentages.
Yeah.
Where it was like, when we were talking about Steve King, like worst case scenario, I'm not going to hold till there, but that 280 seems pretty strong to stay above. I mean, that's still a long ways to go, but
280 is a fair point. Let me see here. 280 is a fair point for sure. Yeah. I was thinking maybe 270. It seems to be the low where it was at back on the 11th.
mm-hmm.
But 280 could be an area too that we see. But yeah, it's got to get below 300 first before you even see those levels. So hopefully we see a bounce. This is a pretty tough sell-off day.
And I don't think it's going to go. I mean, I don't expect it to go to 280. When we're talking about worst case and all that other stuff,
yeah,
it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's unlikely, but it's possible depending on how things shake out.
Yep.
Let's get back to this chat. Aaron Chen upgrading to level 2.
Welcome, man. We got one or two more questions left.
Yep, we do. All right. So, a lot of WeBull questions.
Hit me with them.
Could you? Oh, it's just Eric was asking about any issues with buying a fraction using WeBull 4.0. Is anybody having trouble with it? You talked about Workhorse, right?
Yeah, we did talk about Workhorse.
Fastly, that's one we bring up, and I feel like it's kind of in the same boat as like Rocket dropped. What are your thoughts on Fastly?
Yeah, Fastly, same thing. We're starting to get to an area where it could be a potential buy area right around $71 is kind of where I'm looking at. It's sitting at 80.47 right now, and it could potentially be an area where I would consider buying it there. But given the way that the market's kind of been turning down here lately, I think that I'm going to sit on my hands and wait for this one. But I like Fastly a lot still. I still think it belongs over $100 a share, and I think we get there. Just going to have to wait a little bit, but I like Fastly a lot.
Patrick Higgins says, I'm selling my wife and kids if Tesla goes to 280 and buying. It ain't happening. Patrick, I agree, man. I might be 100% all in with you too. Full account. Steve, Steve.
Don just said, let me know when you're done talking about that nonsense to Tesla 280. We're done.
You know what? And that's going to come back to me and bite me because they're going to misconstrue it and say that I said that I think Tesla is going down to 280. Let me be clear. I don't think it's going to 280. I don't expect it to happen. I have Tesla. If I thought it was going to 280, I would sell it.
We know somebody. Well, you know somebody, Christian, who has 10,000 shares of Tesla.
That's interesting because, yeah, they said, I was texting them yesterday, they said they were going to buy 250 more shares that would put them at 10,000. And I'm really interested, which would amount to $4 million. Well, not 4 million anymore. Almost 3.5 million. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show, there's all kinds of, there's shallow pockets and deep pockets in this thing. That's for sure.
I know you thought your 10 shares were going to move the market. Nah, bro. We're out here thinking like, oh, it's going to move the market. No. Yeah, that I can't wait till I have 10,000 shares of Tesla.
That would be crazy.
I mean, I would love that.
Yeah.
Let's get one more question. Dawson Schreiner, I bought Fastly a year ago for under 30 and sold. Big rookie mistake.
Ouch.
Well, if you made money,
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you. How many beers are we drinking by the end of the day?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't had one yet, but I could be in the mood for some day drinking. We're getting close to the evening time though, so that was this whole weekend. Spent plenty of time this whole weekend doing that. It's time to get back to the grind.
All right. So my last question is, I want pick one stock that you'll be looking at for tomorrow.
Ooh, one stock I'm looking at for tomorrow is going to be RH. And this is one that, like I said, was in Stock Watch Sunday. They have earnings coming up tomorrow, and I think we see a run into it. It's definitely one worth watching. It might be something that I end up adding to before the end of the day here, sitting at 313 as part of the sell-off. So I like this one a lot, and I think we see some FOMO going into earnings tomorrow.
All right. That's all, brother.
Day drinking, day trading. I like that catchphrase. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, if you got value out of this, hit the like button. And if you felt like you were missing out in the chat, make sure you're clicking the join button to be a part of Thursday's stream, where we'll go live again at 3:45 Eastern time to be here with you during the Peloton earnings. That's going to be super exciting. And that's going to do it for us. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Certainly would appreciate the love. And as always, folks, we will see you all before the bell. B. Smith, Cashier, we're out. See you guys. What do you think about the surprise earnings as well? Were you in... Why do I keep saying Do I say that all the time, or is it just today? I feel like I'm saying it a lot more often today. I don't know what the deal is. It has just... Yos... It re... and... How many times can I say... I back, which is a